played properly. Like, they knew that they couldn't push anything early until Baron got online. And once Baron got online, they took that first turret at 8:30. They got a kill. They took gold mine, and they just snowballed it from there. So Reliable Union needs to play more strategic in that sense.
It's almost like they didn't really get a chance to show what they were made of because the comp from SK was so strong. Anyway, we are into the draft. Vox going to be the first ban away from SK here. A Reliable Union with everything to play for. They really got to pull out a blinder in this draft.
This is such a smart first ban from SK because now Reliable Union, they're probably thinking, okay, we want to ban Baron, but that's going to leave Grace open, and SK just banned away the hardest counter to Grace. Reliable Union is going to ban the Grump Jaw. So this, again, really good answer from Reliable Union. Now it says Grace and Baron are both up. You take one, we're going to get the other.
So it is going to be Grace picked up by SK Gaming, which leaves Baron open for Reliable Union. But as you say, Grace, very good into Baron. So definitely a big decision for Reliable Union to make, Sweet Jay.
Yeah, and I think here, since SK has a healer, Reliable Union needs to take Lyra. It's another healer. Lyra is actually better than Grace in the early game until Grace gets her ultimate, and then Echo or Shatterglass makes her extremely strong and very viable into Lyra. So I feel like Lyra is a good option here because, again, it is a healer. It's going to give you the early game aggression, and you need to pick composition that can then snowball with Lyra's early game presence here. They're going to go ahead and first pick that Samuel right off the bat. Samuel is not a bad pick here because once he builds Frostburn, he can constantly slow the Grace and Frostburn her. And finally, they ban the Baron here, which is very smart because Baron is really good into Samuel.
Yeah, so interesting take on the draft out from Reliable Union because the Samuel also denies that pick from Tyrus, which is, Samuel and Tyrus, it's like peas in a pod.
Yeah, Tyrus has one of the best Samuels that we've seen. The Lyra ban from SK, now there's an opportunity for Reliable Union to grab an Idris. If they don't take this Idris here, it is almost certainly going to be picked up by SK. And Kvalifar's Idris with a Grace is absolutely terrifying.
Definitely options available. Glaive is going to be the pick. We mentioned Daredevil's Glaive. That was the pick that they used to take a game off of Mouse. As I mentioned before, SK looking similar to how Mouse did. Maybe this is a composition that they can work with. It certainly feels stronger than game one, but it is going to be the Grace Batiste. We know that duo in itself can win games outright.
Yeah, and I think Kvalifar may go for the Idris here, or Gwen potentially, because Gwen can skedaddle out of a sleep, out of a afterburn tricky situation. So they can also go for potentially Gwen here. But Idris is looking really good in this competition as well, because Grace can dive in along with Idris, and then Baptiste can then use the Ordain and put some extra CC onto either Samuel or Glaive here. Glaive is an interesting pick because Grace is actually really good into melee laner, so Glaive will have to be very careful to dodge the Holy Nova or reflex block that stun. But when he reflex blocks that stun, he won't have a reflex block to get out of an Ordain, so he'll need to go into a fight, commit to it, and stand his ground. And plus, Reliable Union has their most comfortable picks here. HF Guy on Samuel and Daredevil on this Glaive, which we saw was really, really good. So here they can pick Finn here, actually. This is a competition that they actually played. And Finn is actually pretty good into Idris and Baptiste because, again, you want heroes that can stand their ground and fight back. So Finn would be a good pick here, but they may go for Arden, because they prefer Arden and like Arden.
Not only that, but Finn can also frontline very well, just build up a bunch of defenses, and all of a sudden those bad mojos start getting blocked, can't get onto your backline, but they're going to go for a Rona.
Okay. This is an interesting composition. They've definitely thrown a curveball with the Rona last pick there.
Yeah, I think they threw the draft, honestly. Glaive Captain does not work that well, especially late game against Grace. Grace completely offers so much more utility. So if Flower Union wants to win this game, they need to snowball the early game and really make sure Glaive doesn't fall off late game as a captain.
Not only that, but Samuel and Grace against the Rona sounds so good. If you tell me, you're going to be Rona's diving in. She relies on the big red mists. Ordained, Holy Nova, Fearsome Shade. You're only going to block one of those. Yeah. Your captain might be able to block one of them for you. that still leaves the third one that's going to stop the red mist in its tracks and prevent Rona from having an effect in this game.
All right, it definitely feels like you guys are both very big fans of the SK composition once again. Like, is there a situation where this Rona just goes off the chain? Is there a way that this very aggressive composition coming out from a Reliable Union can just snowball to a victory?
Well, when Rona is using her ultimate, she needs to, her whirlwind, she needs to make sure that she reflex blocks the Holy Nova, because if she gets stunned of her ultimate, that's going to cancel a lot of the damage potential that she's going to bring to the table. So Reliable needs to play this very carefully and execute properly with the reflex blocks here against Grace.
The only way that I see this composition being able to win is if your opponents just like forget how to play Vainglory for a while. It's not a good composition. Again, it's a good composition on its own. Like, looking at it individually, it's not a bad composition. But into what is on the other side of the fold, it is a really, really bad composition.
Okay, so Rona going to be struggling against the CC. I don't think SK are going to forget how to play Vainglory anytime soon based on their recent performance. We want to know if you guys at home think that they'll forget how to play Vainglory. Using that hashtag Vainglory8, let us know who you're going to be supporting. But with that, it's time to head onto the Halcyon Fold for the second match of the day.
Well, a bunch of jokers over there at the analyst desk. I'd like to keep it professional, but a lot of shots being fired from these guys, Chinese. You know, Bacon questioning, have Reliable Union forgotten how to play? I think this is a game where Reliable Union come in and flip the series around here. They've had enough of this SK business.
They definitely need to do that, but it's not a good start as Lakodidov does not steal the trait. And, you know, with less joking, I can't help but feel that SK have once again outdrafted Reliable Union, and it's left me with a bit of a sinking feeling in my heart, because I'm just looking at that Holy Nova Ordained combination, and I feel like that's going to be very difficult for Reliable Union to try and avoid that combo, because I feel like SK, if there was ever going to be a team that was going to pull that successfully off multiple times, it is going to be SK.
Look, if you are in range to be getting your Holy Novas and your Ordains off, you are potentially in a position to get multi-Oblivions, multi-Red Misted. And currently Daredevil actually stunned up, needs a little damage. Do you know what I mean? Little splash damage coming out of HF guy.
I know what you're saying, but then you've also got that immense heal coming out from that Divine Intervention as well, especially once you get to level 6 and we have that available. I've seen Graces with, I'm guessing, an Echo using that Divine Intervention twice, and it is just absolutely terrifying because it feels so devastating for the other team to try and watch like all the success that they've made. But oh, Tyrus, he gets stunned up.
That's pretty hard. Tyrus taking a lot of damage. Likos on the front side. HF guy will be there. Actually, Lakodidov getting the first blood. And what did I say? Reliable Union really just kind of the gods of EU Vainglory 8 today, making the big plays they need to, you know?
Sticking the finger up at Bacon saying, we can play, we haven't forgotten.
Yeah, I think I actually screwed up what Bacon said. I think he said SK had to forget how to play if they were going to lose this game or something like that. Either way, it was shots fired, and I was like, Bacon, at least they know how to play at one time.
Are you firing shots back?
Oh, I'm just teasing Bacon. I love that guy.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't, indeed. But it's a good start for SK there. They weren't able to get the kill on Raph, and I think in terms of like control over the jungle, I think it's relatively close. So Derek, HF guy, he's got 14, and Tyra is 12. They've not been able to go into the enemy jungle and just deny them off their farm. But in terms of getting that first kill, I really like the way that, like you said, I like the way they used the stun coming out from Glaive to stun Tyra's up and stealing away the tree out there as well.
You know, that's kind of an X factor. Like Liko on the Glaive, if he's in a good position, as far as when Reliable Union get into these fights, like they have to respect that. Raph has to respect that as he thinks about, you know, sitting back on the back line and getting the heals off, or if he's sitting there trying to get the Holy Nova off. Like, just because if the Glaive was like your jungler or your carry, that's a whole different story, you know. But they just have to respect the fact that he brings the stun to the table. So to put an Ordained on him, suddenly that frees up someone else on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've also got that Drifting Dark as well, which was doing a lot of damage in those kind of little skirmishes at the start of the game as well. And I think getting that shielding so you can withstand that Drifting Dark and just fight in close range against Daredevil and Lakodidov is going to be imperative throughout this game. And it doesn't feel as... I feel like it's difficult to say who's going to be winning this game, looking at how it's going so far. Oh, Daredevil.
That's a lot of damage coming out. Daredevil's going to be all right here. Jungle is intensified 4 minutes in. It's still a Reliable Union up 1-0. A small net worth advantage as well. But SK doing a pretty good job, just kind of hanging out here. Tyrus getting some nice poking down. He was empowered. Just jumping by Raph. Surprising amount of damage coming out, and underneath the turret, they're going to just take out HF guy. Bro, use your range a little bit more. Look at the bad mojo. The chakrams coming through. Daredevil can't stay within range, and at this point, such a tough position to be in. This Rona really wants to get as many levels as possible, get to that level 6, and they're just completely zoning Reliable Union out off of this turret. Doesn't even matter. They can't do anything. Juggling the aggro off of that turret as well. Very good job by SK.
Very good job. But that kill that they got onto HF guy, I think that was a good example of them using the wombo combo of the Holy Nova and the Ordained there, because he was unable to escape, and even though he was under turret, they were able to. We saw SK fully committing to picking up that kill, and they were able to do so. But I think a lot of kudos there to Lakodidov preventing them from picking up a second kill there onto Daredevil using that afterburn at the end. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of action coming up from Glaive this time, using his afterburn very defensively to protect his carries. Actually, oh no.
Benediction
Daredevil.
into the Holy Nova catches Daredevil. Reliable Union are there to back him up, but he can't go anywhere near the edges of these fights.
Yeah, I feel that Reliable Union, they'll be in a lot better position to fight once we do see a little bit more defensive items being picked up from there. But he's got that Serpent's Mask, he's got that extra sustain that he needs. But right now, we're seeing from the chakrams that Kivav are throwing up, they're doing a lot of damage, and I think we need to see him picking up a little bit more armor so he's able to withstand those attacks. Ooh, he is packing a fair bit of punch there with those hits.
So, when he gets his ultimate, when Daredevil gets his level 6, do Reliable Union just try to fight off of that? Are they waiting for an item? Are they waiting for something else? Kval jumps forward, throws the chakram, not going to connect. But what's your opinion on that as far as for this Rona? What are we waiting on?
I think for the Reliable Union, yes, we need to get that red mist so he is able to stand in so he is able to stand within the Ordain and just kind of get, because like he wants to be in a close range, he doesn't want to be able to escape. If he's able to get on top of Kivav or Tyra, it's exactly the position that he wants to be in. Unfortunately, I do see a lot of things that SK can throw at him to prevent this from happening. So you've got that Drifting Dark, you also have the Ordain, the Holy Nova stunning him up as well as Oblivion. So he's going to need the defense, he's going to need that reflex block first, and then he's also going to have to get a little bit more armor because we are seeing Kivav are doing a lot of damage onto him. And I think for Reliable Union to pick up a kill, they really need to be able to isolate either a member of the SK, pick them up in a fight, and just separate the team members. And I think with this composition that they have the ability to do so. But right now, I don't think they have the ability to do so in terms of items and in terms of skills.
Alright, well, Drifting Dark, this HF guy, rotating through the lane, trying to get some damage off, doesn't really connect too much onto SK, and they're going to be alright here hanging out. Raph, as he gets closer to that ultimate, it's going to be a big deal for his team. Having that Divine Intervention. He jumps forward, just Benediction onto Liko. Daredevil jumps in, he has the red mist, starts to spin onto Tyrus, but the Fearsome Shade comes out. Ordained is going to go down as well. He jumps right back in, though. This is going to be Idris finding Glaive. Liko is down. He was able to use the fountain, though. They're turning it around. Cave of Olafar falls. Was that HF guy credited with that kill? Another red mist coming out. He's just spinning to win. Daredevil and Reliable Union holding their ground there.
Yeah, Reliable Union Daredevils, if he is able to get on top of either Tyras or Kivalfar, he is able to do a lot of damage. He was able to take down Kivalfar. Oh
no! Who is this man?
God, apparently. But if he's able to get like Daredevil, he's got so much sustain, he's got a lot of defense. If he's able to get on top of the end of the members of SK, we can see how much he's doing. And if you take one member down, you take away one potential ability of CC away from that team. Oh, Kivalfar.
Oh?
He escapes.
He's okay. Yeah, go on.
It was a tense moment there. Yeah, so these are the conditions that Reliable Union need. There's a lot placed on Daredevil, and I think they definitely have the ability to do really well in the team fights. And we saw just in that team fight there how well they're able to do so, because Kivalfar and Tyros are fighting at range. They've not really prioritized defense that early on in the game. Oh, Wrath.
Into the fray, red mist, spinning to win. Liko is going to knock that K-Ball into the range of the turret. Kivalfar, he's in danger of going down. The fountain comes out, they take him down. HF guy with an empowered Malice and Verdict connects. Raph, force back, doesn't have the ult. Daredevil uses the ultimate and gets a heal. And I think they'll be able to turn this around. Tyrus dropping low, but if he gets an empowered Bad Mojo, Holy Nova finding the stun on his Daredevil and HF guy. Reliable Union having the advantage. HF guy gonna hit a Malice or a Verdict. Tyrus getting out. He would have gone down if he's hit with one more. And suddenly Reliable Union turning the tables, showing, hey, we're here to win this game. They're going to take the gold miner off the back of that fight.
They're picking up the kills, and I think what this goes to show is that think what it goes to show is that we cannot underestimate that Rona, because the moment Rona is able to get on top of them, use that red mist, that we just see that Serpent's Mask just regenerating the energy back as well. Kvalfar in kind of that 3-for-1, I liked how Lakodidov used his afterburn, punting him back into the turret.
So good.
There wasn't really that much escape possible for Kvalfar. I think the way that SK's comp needs to be played out is that they need to be able to keep Kvalfar safe and Tyro safe as well, and they do have so many abilities there that are allowing them to do so, and I feel like Reliable Union's disrupting their momentum, preventing this from happening. We do see there's so much damage on the side of both teams right now. I just feel like Reliable Union, they're a little bit more tankier, they're a little bit more sustainable.
Afterburn back, K-Vol is in danger. They jump forward into the fray, start spinning. Daredevil finding a bit of damage, but Liko doesn't quite have another stun. Fearsome Shade's gonna catch 2. AHF guy goes down to a boosted bad mojo. Ordain's gonna stun up Liko as he goes down as well. And this is Daredevil left to his own devices up against all 3 of SK. A tough position to be in.
Tough position to be in indeed, and I personally don't feel like he can finish this 1v3, and I think they should just allow this target to be taken. Otherwise, we could be seeing another death coming out from Reliable Union.
Daredevil forced to use his boots there, so he was hanging out in a dangerous position. Look at the shock arm as it hits him both on the in and out there. You're going to have to start to respect this moving forward.
They definitely are. I think one thing that SK might need is picking up the war treads relatively early, because the moment we see the aggression coming out from Reliable Union as they're trying to engage on the team fights, it does feel that SK are struggling to escape and allowing Kvalfar and Tyrus to reposition. And I think it certainly helps that HF guy has a Frostburn as well. It makes it a lot more difficult. So having the war treads to be able to allow them to disengage from those fights and allow them to reposition is going to be really important in the future team fights. Daredevil, he's got that metal jacket now. He's so prepared to go into Kvalfar.
Yeah, he definitely is. But you see a lot of damage coming out still. He's trying to spin with the red mist. He's going to go ahead and block and jump backwards. The afterburn knocks Kvalfar back. Kvalfar is just going to get healed up. He has that holy shield as well. Wrath moves forward, drops the fountain out of here. Daredevil, another red mist. He's trying to heal up through this spinning to win. Can he do it? He's on to Wrath. Kvalfar both taking damage, but they turn it. They take Daredevil down. What a dangerous fight. SK come out on top though, and it felt like HF guy just really wasn't capable of doing anything there. This is such a positioning game for the Samuel. Kvalfar, he's just going to shroud step in, throw out the shock. He's very hard to lock down. The mobility of this hero very high at this point.
It is very high, and I think they were able to pick up a few kills there on him, 2 kills on Kvalfar early enough. And he didn't have as much mobility as he does now. And I think also part of the issue there for, I think you were saying about HF guy. So right now he's got that Frostburn on Eve. Like having a broken myth, because that fight I feel like was very sustained. SK were really chasing for them. And having that broken myth allowing them to stack up would have helped a lot in that team fight. And I do believe that is what he's going to be building for next. But like Kvalfar on that Idris, really beginning to ramp up there in terms of damage. Yeah.
Yeah, Kval ramping up in terms of damage. You can tell by his playstyle he senses it as well. He's like, okay, I'm ready to go, so I'll just throw a shocker, I might jump forward, it's no problem, I jump out, and rinse and repeat, doing a very good job, backed up by Wrath, and he got that healing with the Holy Shield. I mean, Idris can jump through and be on the front line a little bit more than he typically would like to be, and I think the same kind of play with Batiste. So they're just poking, fighting around cooldown, seeing who catches who. Right now, Reliable Union kind of in a bit of a pickle, as they want to move forward, get some vision down into the Tri-Brush. Where SK currently have control over the middle area of the map. Bad Mojo comes out, ordained onto Liko. He's going to afterburn, get stunned up. Wrath in with Benediction into the Holy Nova. He's going to catch Daredevil. He jumps in. He's spinning with the Red Mist. Breaking point starting to stack up. Tyrus will get the heal coming out of Wrath there. They're going to drop Tyrus. Liko credited with that kill. They're on to Kvalfar, who jumped onto the back line. Another into the fray. Starts to spin as well. Daredevil, can he find the damage though? Kvalfar using his mobility to get onto the backside out of that spinning, but he can't do it. Daredevil, foe splits him down, splitting his foe. And HF guy, Malice,
get the ace.
The Malice gets it, doesn't need the verdict. The verdict is that's an ace for Reliable Union. Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged. They've evened up the playing field completely. They're going to get the gold mine, and they're also going to get the first tart as well. So they're going to be sitting a very comfortable gold lead once they get this about 1800 gold. So that's gonna be a lead that I feel like SK are not really comfortable with, and I think that forward, especially with Daredevil now. He's got that breaking point, and I feel like what we're seeing there when SK were trying to fight Daredevil was that they were fighting while his red mist was on. What you want to be seeing is the moment Daredevil uses his red mist, just back away from the fight, use Tyrus to poke away at Rona, and then you can feel comfortable, be a bit more comfortable to re-engage. And also this shows we saw Kivalfar trying to embark on a 1 versus 1 against Rona, and I feel like that was a fight that was never going to go very well, and I think a little bit kind of overestimation of how well that fight was going to go at the start of that.
I mean, it's definitely a skill fight where like Kvalfar just has to kind of bait out the red mist and then go ahead and like shroud step out of it, so he's not getting caught with that. But I think like based off of the way the cooldowns were working in that fight, Daredevil just had his end of the fray up and was able to reposition just as often. Jumps forward, foe splitter onto Cavefall, red mist comes out. Tyrus has the Ordained down onto him. Fearsome Shade connects as well as the bad Mojo. A lot of damage coming out. Kvalfar jumps forward. He wants Daredevil. Daredevil spinning again one more time. The drifting dart comes out. Can the Malice and Verdict find the damage that they need? They're going to lose Daredevil. Liko has to defensively afterburn, and Reliable Union not able to connect on anybody as far as taking someone down on SK through that fight. Now, SK are just going to hang out here and look to try and take this turret down. Afterburn from Liko knocks Caveball back, but HF guy not really ready to follow up. There's the drifting dart. There's the Malice and Verdict. Wrath with that benediction, providing them that directional holy shield. Very nice. Reliable Union will be able to fend SK off of that in the end.
They are able to fend off. HF guy was just untouchable. He has a lot of crystal power now. He's got that Frostburn. He's able to force him to back away every single time. And one thing that I want to point out right now from Wrath is that he's got a Shatter Glass on that Grace, and I really like that because it reduces incoming damage coming in because he's got so much crystal power. So I think he already, without the Shatter Glass, I think he reduced the damage coming out from him for 40%, allowing him to tank the abilities coming out from Reliable Union there. But with that extra Shatter Glass, he is able to block a lot more as well.
Alright, so that's a good point and something we'll have to keep our eyes on. I noticed the Null Wave Gauntlet actually coming out from Liko. So he picked that up, I think, his last big item that he completed, and that's a major item we'll have to keep our eyes on as well. If he can get that off onto a key target in these fights, that actually opens up a lot of what they can do.
Definitely, and I think if they're able to isolate either I think Kvalfar, I feel like because of his mobility, he's probably the most difficult one to lock down, so you can definitely see them trying to focus on him. But I think Wrath, main target, with that fountain of that crucible, if you can prevent that heal coming out, that's gonna be a major play there coming from Reliable Union. They're doing really well with the execution. I feel like we've definitely seen a big spike in momentum coming out from Reliable Union. And
alright, into the fray, into the red mist spinning. Tyrus taking a lot of damage. He's stunned up as well. The fountain gonna come out and put him to sleep, and Tyrus still alive. He's healing. That's not right. What's going on, Tyrus? He should be dead. 3 times over. They took HF guy down. Liko dropping low. It's Daredevil in the mix. Well, he was in the fray after jumping into the fray, getting burned down. Couldn't go through with that fight. He had breaking point stacks as well. Wrath jumping forward, trying to chase Liko off down. Now, SK don't lose anybody, up 9-6, and they're going to tie up the net worth here, approaching the 17-minute mark of this game. Suddenly, SK kind of taking a dominant stance in these fights that seemed a little bit more even.
Well, you see, I think the positioning of the fight at the start was really bad from SK because Tyrus, it was so easy for him to knock, for Lakodidov to stun him into a wall. And we're all looking at this like, how is Tyrus staying alive? And it comes down to Wrath and his divine intervention preventing him from going down. He had enough lag time there to allow him to heal Tyrus up. Actually, this is a bit of a precarious position. SK are not full health, not full energy.
Interesting situation we have here, team. Alright, chat, press 1 for Reliable Union, 2 for SK, who will secure this Kraken. Okay.
No one's gonna secure it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be happening. They're gonna drop off here. SK still have the advantage in positioning. They will go ahead and knock Tyrus back, but once again, this is the target that was healing up and regening so much. Kvalfar, he's on the backline on the HF. Protect HF guy! Somebody! Chakram just tears through. Kvalfar's like, yes, I'll take 1, I'll take 2. A double kill coming through for the Idris here, and that almost seemed too easy.
It did seem too easy. And what they happened the moment, so when they were on the Kraken, they went to the shop, they Kvalfar refreshed his infusion anyway, and mid-fight there for Daredevil, his infusion ran out.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. That is exactly how I felt. I went, oh no, the moment I saw that run out. And that was a bit of an issue, because it definitely feel that positionally, Reliable Union had the advantage. They were full health, they were full energy, but SK were able to turn that around thanks to the use of infusions and thanks to the aggression coming out. They were able to isolate Daredevil and then HF Gao, which is what they've been meaning to do. But I would still say this is a very, very close game, perhaps uncomfortably close there for SK. Reliable Union, they've not been performing well in the past few weeks. And this is, I think, the first game in a long time that we've been seeing them really, really playing up to their standards that we usually would come to expect from them.
Oh, definitely, and especially if we saw, SK's performance last week. SK are starting to be on a upward momentum as far as their overall play in the VGA. It's really impressive stuff, and Reliable Union doing a good job. Now, Daredevil trying to spin on top of SK, but he's gonna have to get back. Liko as well. Wrath jumps in with the benediction, and there's your divine intervention heal's gonna come on through. That's just so much healing. It's awesome for his team. Not so great for Reliable Union. It's Daredevil almost going down. He's on his healing platform, and this is Reliable Union on a knife's edge from dropping out of this series here. Daredevil comes in, stun on to Tyrus. Man, he's gonna just get stunned up there. It's so hard for him. I mean, our analysts talked about it before the game started in draft. Like, Daredevil's gonna jump in, and sure, like occasionally you're gonna block stuff. Sometimes the cooldowns aren't gonna be up, but the majority of the time it's gonna be pretty easy to execute on this composition as they just disable and take Reliable Union down. Triple kill at the end for Daredevil, but too little, too late.
Till it's a delay, and it's a shame because I feel like this is a series I would love to have seen go to game 3 because I think it would have been really difficult to call at the end of that, considering how Reliable Union were playing in that last game. There were some really strong moments there, especially coming from Daredevil and Lakodidov. I really like the way that they're chaining off their combos, and I think a lot of people were